I wasn't feeling like making this recording today. I just wasn't in the mood, but I I made a commitment to myself to try to make these videos regularly, not every day, but as regular as I can maintain it. The idea is to post videos regularly and avoid burnout. So yeah, I'm trying to give myself a bit of room to be able to just take a day off and not feel like I have to make a video when I'm feeling fatigued. So when I'm feeling fatigued, I will take a day off or two or whatever. So that is totally fine. But today, the reason I didn't want to make a video is not because I'm feeling fatigued. I'm just not in the mood. I don't feel like making a video, and that is actually not a good reason not to make a video. If you're tired, just take a break. But if you're not in the mood, I think you should just create despite how you're feeling, because this idea of motivation is something that I used to think that before attempting anything, I have to be motivated first, then I will attempt it. But that is not a good way of going about it, because if you're relying on motivation, you're not gonna do much. I think action comes first, and then motivation will follow. It's like going to the gym. There are days where you're amped up, especially when you're starting out. You're like, okay, I want to start going to the gym regularly, and you have a lot of motivation. You're so enthusiastic. You're ready to go. But then a week later, when you start settling into a routine, routines can get a bit stale, and once you get used to a specific routine, sometimes things can start to get a little bit I don't want to say boring, but it's just like, oh man, I have to do this again. I don't want to do it today. Your motivation goes down, and it is at that point where it's really, really crucial to stick to what you've committed to, because you lose motivation, and then if you stop and you say you're gonna wait for motivation to come back, you're not going back to the gym. You're not going back. So, and I think the gym is a perfect example for this, because when you go to the gym, despite how you're feeling, say you wake up in the morning, the alarm goes off, and you don't want to go to the gym because you're not feeling like it, but then you just force yourself to go. When you get there, within a couple of minutes of just moving your body, your motivation comes back, your energy comes back, So it's like you were not feeling like it, but you just took action, and that action led to you feeling like doing it, So yeah, I like this idea of action leads to motivation. So you act first, then you get in the mood again. So even now, as I'm talking, I can actually feel like I can feel a change in my body, where I'm like, oh, okay, I'm getting into it. I'm getting into it. But when I started talking, I was like, man. Or rather, before I even started recording, I was like, no, I'm not really feeling like it today, but I'm going to do it anyway. So do it in spite of how you're feeling. That's, I think that is a very important skill to build. This idea of just pushing through. I think it's a very good muscle to exercise. Just push through. It's okay not to feel like it. In fact, the best way to be able to handle this is to expect it. expect that you're not gonna be in the mood all the time. There are gonna be days where you're just not in it, and during those days, when you know they're coming, it's not so devastating. You're like, I'm not in the mood, but yeah, makes sense. This is inevitable. It is bound to happen at some point, and it's happening now, but I know exactly what I need to do. I just need to push through it because I know within a couple of minutes of starting, this feeling will go away and I will just get into it. But yeah, having said that, there also are days where you're not in the mood and then you just push through it and you're still like, oh no, this is the feeling of not being in the mood seems to linger. There are those days as well. And for those days, as an artist, I think, just do 20 minutes. Just do 20 minutes or less. Just do a few minutes of just sketches. You don't have to try to create masterpieces. Just put in a little bit and that's enough, and then step away. But as for the days where you are just absolutely fatigued, your body needs a rest. Maybe you haven't been getting enough rest. Just take a day off. Take 2 days off, 3 days off. Take a week off. Let your body rest. That's important. Because if you don't allow yourself to rest, you will burn out. You will definitely burn out. And speaking of rest, that's another contributing factor to your mood. So I think it's very important that you get enough rest. Try to go to bed at a reasonable hour and get at least 7 hours. If you can get 7 hours in, at least for me, I find that if I can get in 7 hours, I'm functional, the following day. But anything less than that, I've actually experimented this in the past. I remember I started by getting 7 hours of sleep, and then I dropped it to 6 hours, and I could tell that at some point I even dropped it to like 5 hours, and I was just a zombie. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. So sleep is very important. It's something that I struggle with, and I think a lot of people struggle with sleep. But yeah, I think you should try to create the conditions that will allow you to get enough sleep. For me, it means going to bed no later than 10 o'clock, it's a big challenge because a lot of times I find myself going to bed around 11, which is because I need to wake up like 5 in the morning. So going to bed at 11, I'm not going to get my 7 hours. So the idea is to go to bed 10 o'clock, no later than 10 o'clock for me. And I must make sure that my room is completely black, no lights. Phone is away from me. I'm not looking at a screen before going to bed. I need to make sure that I just get in there, turn the lights off, and I sleep. So yeah, sleep is very important. It's very, very important to get enough sleep so that you can be functional, So yeah, you're not feeling like drawing, you're just not in the mood. Maybe it could be that you're not getting enough sleep. So yeah, consider that. And then don't really have a lot to say today. I just wanted to talk about this idea of not feeling like drawing and what could be the contributing factor, and also not relying on inspiration to do your creations. You just create despite how you're feeling. So yeah, anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about today. Thank you for checking out my video, and I will catch you on the next one. Cheers.